Don't take the law into your own hands. Remember, if you see a crime, report it. This is a message from your own self, old man Sam Sion.
Crime Stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime Stopper, stopping crime and making peace for them before. Crime Stopper, Liberia, from the center to interior. Crime Stopper, keeping us safe, let's stopping crime for all of us. Crime Stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime Stopper, stopping crime and making peace for them before. Crime Stopper, Liberia. From the center to interior, Crime Stopper, keeping us safe, let's stopping crimes for all of us. It's about music. There are crimes in many places. In every community, you can see. So if you see crime, you will report it. Don't take law in your hand, call the right authority. That it can't take care of it. Crime Stopper here for us, bringing safety to your door. Whether you rich or you poor, if you see a you must talk it, and I mean you cheche. Do it for your safety. If you see it, don't keep it. You must call to report it. Crime Stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime Stopper, stopping crime and making peace for them before. Crime Stopper, Liberia, from the center to interior. Crime Stopper, keeping us safe, let's stopping crime for all of us. Crime Stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime Stopper, stopping crime and making peace for them before. Crime Stopper, Liberia, from the center to interior. Crime Stopper, keeping us safe, let's stopping crime for all of us.
Crime Stopper Liberia is your community crime fighting partner. Don't take the law into your own hands. Remember, if you see a crime, report it. This is a message from your own self, old man Sam Sion.
Crime Stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime Stopper, stopping crime and making peace for them before. Crime Stopper, Liberia, from the center to interior. Crime Stopper, keeping us safe, let's stopping crime for all of us. Crime Stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime Stopper, stopping crime and making peace for them before. Crime Stopper, Liberia, from the center to interior. Crime Stopper, keeping us safe, let's stopping crime for all of us. It's about music. There are crimes in many places. In every community, you can see. So if you see crime, you must report it. Don't take law in your hand, call the right authority. That it can't take care of it. Crime Stopper here for us, bringing safety to your door. Whether you rich or you poor, if you see a you must talk it, and I mean you cheche. Do it for your safety. If you see it, don't keep it. You must call to report it. Crime Stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime Stopper, stopping crime and making peace for them before. Crime Stopper, Liberia, from the center to interior. Crime Stopper, keeping us safe, let's stopping crimes for all of us. Crime Stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime Stopper, stopping crime and making peace for them before. Crime Stopper, Liberia, from the center to interior. Crime Stopper, keeping us safe, let's stopping crimes for all of us.
Crime Stopper Liberia is your community crime fighting partner. Don't take the law into your own hands. Remember, if you see a crime, report it. This is a message from your own self, old man Sam Sion.
Crime Stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime Stopper, stopping crime and making peace for them before. Crime Stopper, Liberia, Unnecessary to interior crime stop. Keeping us safe, let's stop it crime for all of us. Crime stop. People bringing safety to your door.
Crown Stopper Liberia, we fight so well to stop crime. And that's the reason why we always want people to know their rights. And once you get to know your right, oh, it can, minimize crimes as well. It's not going to 100% to say, oh, it's going to eliminate crime in a society. When we sit here and tell you that, then obviously we'll be lying, because once there's a way, then there's a will. Obviously, you have crime in a society, but obviously, what we do, we try to minimize criminal activities in society so that our people are safe and to know your rights. So today we're going to have a continuation of our program last week. Last week we talked about we did talk about search warrants. We talked about search and seizure, and that was pretty much interesting, because of course, a lot of us know that we find ourselves in these situations, and therefore, it is for us to know. Like I told someone this morning, I said the law does not accuse a person that doesn't know. That's the thing. You can't tell the law, I don't know, because the law assumes that you know. Let me tell you where the assumption comes in so that you get to know that today. You have for yourself what we call the legislators. They sit and they are the one that make laws. So all of the laws that we have, with the exception of the Constitution, the Constitution are the law that are made by us, with the people. That's the reason why you have referendum. So once you have the referendum, you have the Constitution is the law that we make. Okay. So now you have the law that we make, and then we elect people. We say they should go use the law that we make and be able to make other laws to govern our society. And so it is expected that these people that we have hired, that these people that we have put our trust and confidence in, would be the ones to actually make the laws to govern us in society. So you see, they don't make the laws. They are not supposed to. I shouldn't say they don't. They are not supposed to make these laws in isolation of us. So they are supposed to come back to us when they are making these laws. They'll come back to us and tell us, oh, this is what we are trying to pass. Come back to the constituents and tell the constituents, tell your people that, well, this is what we're trying to do. This is the law we are trying to pass. Let your people be in the know, so that when you pass the law, it is not the work now of others to go and tell somebody, say, oh, this is the law. No, because at first you must have already consulted your people. And then your people, of course, will know the kind of law that you're passing or the kind of bill that you're putting on the floor. It's not just about you. You sit there and say, oh, I'm going to work and I'm just going to do whatever. No. They say you should go back to your people and consult them so they know exactly what's coming up. So if it's something that's going to affect them, then they get to know about it, And so once it is passed, the law requires that the last step of the law, for it to become a law, it should be published. Once it is published, the very next day or the very next 10 minutes or 5 minutes that a crime is committed or something is done that violate that law, the law says you already know. They say ignorance of the law is no exception. Okay. So, we have that process and a lot of other processes. And that's why we need to go back to our people and be consultant. Okay. You cannot elect someone, the person just go there, sit there, make salary, and at the end of the day, you don't even know what the person is doing. You elect the person, you give them a job, you pay them. Okay, so follow up on what they are doing. But anyway, that's not the topic we have for today. That's just a teaser for what we have for discussion today. So for today's discussion, since we discussed such a seizure, today we're going to be discussing arrest and arrest warrant. Okay, arrest and arrest warrant. And as I usually say, I like to read directly from the law because I don't want someone to say, oh, it was the interpretation of Councillor Science. She was the one that interpreted it this way. She said this. No, I want you to basically say, well, the law said this. She read it from this provision. So when I'm reading from, if it's the Constitution, you will hear me talk about the Constitution and the article I'm reading from and the section and everything. If it is not the Constitution, if it's any other law that I'm going to be reading, of course, you hear me talk about that. So, this is something for you to know that I don't work in isolation, and of course, we have our work to do. So today, as we said, we're going to be talking about arrest. So let us talk about arrest. What is arrest? We hear people saying arrest. They arrested the man. They arrested the man. They carry him. We use the words a whole lot. And sometimes, well, we get to know the meaning of it. Sometimes we don't get to know the meaning of it. So according to our law, I will go to the Constitution before coming here, but I just want for us to define what arrest is first. According to our law in chapter 10 of the Criminal Procedure Law of Liberia, it says arrest is the taking of a person into custody in order that he may be forthcoming to answer for the commission of an offense. So the essence of arrest is not to torture the person. The essence of arrest is not to prohibit the person from the constitutional right of movement. The essence of arrest is to take this person into custody, but for a specific reason. They say to answer for the commission of offense. That's the reason why people are arrested. Okay. Sometimes you don't have to be arrested to be questioned for an offense. Okay. Sometimes they will say, well, this is a person of interest. You are invited. You are given invitation to come to the police station so that you can question, you can answer to certain things that, well, the law enforcement officer has reason to know that you have idea of what has transpired, okay, what have occurred. You have an idea. So once they understand that you have an idea, they will call you in to do that. But when they know that you took part, they will both make and say part took. But if they know that you took part in the commission of the crime that they're talking about, obviously at the end of the day, they're gonna arrest you. So when they arrest you, they have a time frame. Once arrest is made, you have a time frame on which they operate. Okay. So then how do you effect this arrest? How do you take this person into custody? That's what we ask. We do that based on what we call arrest warrant or warrant of arrest. And that was what I talked about the other time, warrant of arrest. However, I want for us to talk about the procedure that is laid down in the Constitution as it relates to arrest. Hmm? Arrest. Because you see, Constitution protects everyone, including someone who we call a suspect. We can suspect someone of committing a crime. Does not mean the person is a criminal right away. Hmm? You can suspect the person of committing a specific offense. Does not make the person a criminal right away. And that's one thing I want to disabuse our minds from. We always have a tendency that when an offense happens, instead of coming up and say, well, this particular thing happened and we suspect, I mean, this person was the one that did it, the first thing we jump to is calling the person a criminal. You are a criminal. You are a criminal. The man is a criminal. Once you call someone a criminal, it means that verdict has already been passed on that person. It means that the court has already saw this person as a criminal. The court has already passed down, the court has already ruled that the person actually committed the offense for which you are accusing the person. Until you have a court ruling, you don't refer to anyone as a criminal. Again, until you have a court ruling against someone and the verdict is down that that person committed that offense, until you have that, do not refer to anyone as a criminal. The person is not a criminal until you have a court ruling. So let us go to our constitutional provision. We have a clause in the Constitution that we call the protection from self-incrimination clause. Protection from self-incrimination. We understand that it is easy when you go to arrest someone or they go to take them into custody. The first thing they do, they start talking. Hey, no, that I mean do it. If I yeah, I didn't want to do it, but I did it because the man did it other way to me. No, you shouldn't do that. Okay, you should not do that. You should only do that when you have been adequately advised by lawyer. But don't just go ahead and start talking and incriminate yourself. So this is the reason why the law puts it on the authorities who's effecting the arrest, as well as on you as an individual who is being arrested or who is seen as a suspect or an accused. The law puts it on you to keep your mouth shut until certain things are done. Okay, so let me read this constitutional provision is Article 21C. And Article 21C says every person suspected or accused of committing a crime shall immediately upon arrest be informed in detail of the charges, of the right to remain silent. They should inform you of the detail of the charges first, one. And they should inform you of the right to remain silent. Then the next thing they say, and of the fact that any statement made could be used against you, against him in a court of law. So that's the thing. The first thing, somebody who's coming to arrest, the first thing, I don't care what kind of crime the person is suspected of committing. I'm saying suspected because until it is established by court ruling that the person committed the crime, or until the person confesses that yes, I committed the crime in court and it is placed on our record, the person is a suspect. Okay, so as a suspect, these are the things that you do. First, as the arresting officer, you have to inform the person in detail of the charges. Not just I arresting you because somebody said that you don't want to put the generator for down there. No. Inform the person in details of the charges. We'll come to this particular aspect why it is necessary. And the next thing is I will repeat these standards today. I really wanted to talk about something different that has to do with the legislature, but I can't because, of course, this is something that we started and we have to remain on path. Okay, maybe next week we're gonna talk about that based on the. I mean, depending whether situation continue. Okay, and I will tell you, Liberian people, the kind of rights you have in your hands, the power you have that you are not using. You make people use you and use you for nothing. Okay, all right. Let's go back to our provisions. So one, they should give you the details of the charges. Two, and that details of the charges include why you have been charged, who has charged you, for what reason, where the crime occurred, and everything, because you want to know whether even that arresting officer has jurisdiction to arrest you. Okay. There's somebody, you just take somebody from Broadville and bring them somewhere around Conga Town because they want to come maybe intimidate you. Then they say, oh, we can't do arrest the man. You want to take the man from Conga Town and take him to Broadville because you say, well, the man is an arresting officer. No. Even with the police, you have jurisdictional area. You don't just leave from one place and go to the other place to go effect arrest. So all those things, if they bring you the warrant, it will be on the warrant. Okay. And of the right to remain silent, shut up, choop, shut up your mouth. The thing that, and this is one place I really wanted for us to lay emphasis today, because this is one thing, even some people that have not committed an offense, they are just suspected of committing the offense. This is where sometimes they put themselves in bigger trouble and even put other people in bigger trouble because, of course, sometimes they don't even have any idea of what has happened. They only hear church police say that this person, they will be talking as if to say they were there and they were part of it, putting themselves in trouble and putting other people in trouble. All because why? They can't keep their mouth shut. Okay, and of the fact that they said they should inform you to remain silent, and that any statement you make will be used against you in the court of law. So in the court, we have evidence. Evidence can be statement, evidence can be writing, evidence can be materials, evidence can be anything that can substantiate the claim of the person who is accusing you. Anything that when the person bring it, the person will say that everything you are doing, and this is the evidence for you. So the law is saying to avoid you not putting yourself into that trouble, to self-incriminate yourself, to protect you from that, shut up. And the arresting officer that the right to tell you to shut up. They say such person shall be entitled to counsel at every stage of the investigation. They didn't even say at every stage of the court. At every stage of the investigation. So for every time you are called to come to the police station, including the moment that they arrested you, you are entitled to a lawyer. When you hear counsel in the Constitution, they're talking about lawyer. Okay, you are entitled to a lawyer. The lawyer is supposed to be there. When you are being interrogated, the lawyer is supposed to be there, because if you're going to say any self-incriminating thing, the lawyer has the right to inform you that what you're saying will be self-incriminating, and therefore you have the right to remain silent and say, no, I'm not going. Another thing, if you go to the police and the police did not give you a lawyer, did not grant you a lawyer to come in, you have the right to just remain silent. Anything they say you don't want to say back, you can say. And the law say if they beat you or they hate you because of that, that's torture. They shouldn't do that, because that's the reason why they are capacitated to go and collect the evidence. So they shouldn't wait for you to say what has happened before they be able to use that as evidence. Okay. So, okay, shall be entitled to counsel at every stage of the investigation and shall have the right not to be interrogated except in the presence of counsel. So that you're right. You say that my lawyer can. I don't want to say anything. I'm not going to say anything now until my lawyer gets here. Okay? That you're right. So these are the things that the law is saying. Take full control of your right. Any admission or other statement made by the accused in the absence of such counsel shall be deemed inadmissible as evidence in a court of law. That won't go straight to the arresting officer. So if you don't follow all of what I have just talked about, it means that anything you take from the person or any statement you extract from the person, whether by force or not, those statements cannot be used in the court of law as evidence against the person. Then who is an authority to arrest? Authority of the court and peace officers as well, the arresting officers or other government officers. And not only police can arrest people. Okay, I think by now we know this because we recently got a vibrant DEA, so we see that the DEA is effecting a lot of arrests. We know that there is a group called the NSA. Of course, the NSA has arresting power as well. So the NSA has the right to arrest. Immigration, when you get to any of the border points, and you are carrying things maybe that are not supposed to be on you, or you are at that border point trying to cross and you are not supposed to be there, maybe you don't have the right documentations or something, you can get arrested. So there are numerous entities under the structure that can arrest. Even the military can arrest. Okay, the military can arrest their own people. When they go against that, they will send military police to effect the arrest. Or when the state call for the military, in some tough cases, in some tough instances where you have people being belligerent to the state's order, and the state call for the military to get involved, of course they're going to effect arrest as well. And then there is something called citizen arrest. But all of these arrests that I talk about, it has nothing to do with you torturing anyone. You are not supposed to arrest somebody and then you start hitting on the person, you start knocking, and you start torturing the person. And the same thing goes to even people that are effecting arrests in the communities. As it was so sad the other time, just a little story, but it's true reality. Somewhere, Momotown, on Momotown's road, I remember we're driving, coming, so it was somewhere around 10 o'clock, 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. And then I looked in front of me. I saw three gentlemen having this guy. They have arrested this guy. The guy, his trouser one side, he holding the trouser. And then I saw this kid behind them. The kid could be maybe around 10, 11, estimating. And I noticed he had something in his hands, and he was hitting this guy from the back. The three bigger guys that had this guy, walking literally, his leg wasn't even touching the ground. They were walking so fast with him to carry him to the police station. They were not actually beating him. They were not beating him. Okay. I observed them. But then this little boy behind them took stick. He took something. As they moved along, he beating them. He beating this guy. So then I reached closer and I stopped. And I asked him, what are you doing here? Why are you hitting him? And then the bigger guy start to make excuses for the little one. And I told him, I said, in the first place, this person is a child. He shouldn't be involved in inflicting harm on other people. This is how we raise children differently in a society. Because when you talk about mob violence, this is how it starts. You, who the bigger person, you have arrested this guy through citizen arrest and carrying this guy to the police station or to the police officer. And you are allowing this child to take sick and other things to be beaten because you don't want to do it. But you want the child to do it because you know that if anything happens at the end of the day, they can't hold the child responsible. Oh, yeah, they will not hold it. Let me tell you, the age of criminal responsibility under Liberia law is 7 years. And that's something we'll talk about another time. So from 7-year-old, you can hold a child responsible for something that they have done. Until that law is changed, I don't think it has ever changed yet. You should know that when your child is 8, 7, 9, 10, things they do, the law will hold them responsible for it. They will have to answer for themselves. You don't want to give that child a kind of record that child should not have because you can't exercise restraints and maybe you want the child to do your work for you or you want them to do the bad things that you don't want to use your hands to do. You shouldn't do that. So if you are not an arresting officer or you're not a peace officer or other government officials that should be effecting arrest on the particular act that created them, you shouldn't be doing that. If you do that in a peaceful method, since we talk about citizen arrest, which is another thing for another time, but you should not inflict harm on the person. It is the law that is to deal with someone because that person is a suspect until that person is guilty, proven guilty in court. Let me give you another instance. There was one time I was associated with a particular event, a particular case, where in this guy, he used to work as a security guy. So he had his home. He was living somewhere in Painesville, and I think he was working at the Freeport. Either the security guard for the port itself or for a nearby, I mean, some of those facilities that are around the port area. So this day, it was so late for him to go home. He came off work, I think, around 3 a.m. around there. He went to a girlfriend's place. When he went to this girlfriend's community, the girlfriend had someone in her room. So he couldn't enter. It seems like the same way that people can say that maybe that the main guy was there, the guy who pays the rent or whatever it is, all those things done. So he couldn't enter. So he now had to trek in the community. Many people, nobody knew him in the community. He only used to go to this girl, maybe she and her friends. They were the one that knew him. So when he stood to her door, call her, she couldn't answer. Of course, she had someone. He had to trek from that community now to find his way to go back out of where he came from or to go find his way to go in his community. On the way, this whole group came, running, roar, just like that. And before he knew it, they were on him. He tried to, before he knew it, man, sticks and big rock and other thing. And that boy died that night before the morning hours. All of them ran away. Just for them to go find out at the end of the day that the boy was so innocent. He didn't even live in that community. He had nothing doing there. He was not the one involved. He was not a suspect, nothing. He was killed because of mob violence. So that's the reason why the law laid down these provisions that we should take people to the police. And as a police officer, if you are there effecting arrest, You have no right to tell somebody, say, my man, you robbed the man, you robbed the man off a little bit. Because sometimes some of these things can happen. Say, you robbed the man off a little bit. Then sometimes some people will start beating the man. So no, it is wrong. The law forbids it. You who do it, you can be charged for murder. Matter of making arrest, force permissible in effecting it. On the same chapter 10 in our criminal procedure law. An arrest is made by an actual restraint of the person to be arrested, or by his submission to the custody of the person making the arrest. And that's another thing. You know, as an arresting officer, or what we should call peace officer or peaceful officer, we use our powers to intimidate people. The law gives the provision here. If the person has submitted to the custody of you, you have no right to restraining them further. You will see somebody say, oh, we're coming arrest you, pass in front of me, the man already in front of them. Then they say, in fact, we got to put off on the man here because we got to take his picture and post it in the media. So you are already casting an offense on the man without even investigating him. The court has not come down to call this man a criminal, but you have already posted this man picture with cuff on his hand because the man is a suspect. A suspect. And on our law, they say you are innocent until you are proven guilty. So the person is a suspect. They have not been cleared by court to say, oh, this is what happened. The next thing, you say you want to put a cuff at all costs on the person here because you want people to take the picture. That is abuse of power. You shouldn't be doing that. The law says when the person has already submitted to the custody of you, you take the person and carry them. Only when the person is being forceful, that's when you try to restrain the person. If the person is resisting arrest, if the person is not resisting arrest, what is the putting cuff on the man here or doing other things? No. Okay. Permissible force. No unnecessary or unreasonable force shall be used in making an arrest. And the person arrested shall not be subjected to any greater restraint than is necessary for his detention. So you don't need no unnecessary force when you go to arrest a person. Don't go and start hitting on the person, slapping the man ear, kicking his butt and all kinds of things. Then you say because you went to arrest a person. That is unnecessary force, especially when the person has already been restrained. The person is not being violent, nothing. You already have the person under your custody. Then you start doing those things is wrong. Entry into building. All necessary and reasonable force may be used to effect any entry into a building or property or part thereof to make an authorized arrest. That's where you hear me come in with the authorized arrest. Authorized arrests are arrests that you have an arrest warrant. Once you have the arrest warrant and the person enter into a particular premises and refusing to come outside, the law says you can use force to enter, or instead of go ahead the person, you can use force to enter that particular premises. Search for weapons. A peace officer or other authorized person making a lawful arrest may search for and take from the person arrested all weapons which he may have about his person, and shall deliver them to the court before which he is taken. So it's not just only weapon. Anything the person has, if that person used that thing to commit the crime, or the person is using it to be violent so that they can be arrested, you have the right to take that thing, whether it is legal or not, in the possession and carry it to the court. They didn't say take it and go take it for yourself. Time, when, and territorial limit within which an arrest may be made. An arrest may be made anywhere within the jurisdiction of the Republic of Liberia. If the offense charge is a felony, the arrest may be made on any day and at any time of the day or night. If it's a felony offense, maybe murder, you felony, be a murder, and robbery, aggravated assault, all those things are felony offenses. So they say anytime and any time of the day, it can be 12 a.m. They can come to your house to arrest you once there's an arrest warrant. If it is any other offense, the arrest cannot be made at night unless such a direction is endorsed upon a warrant of arrest, except when the offense is committed in the presence of the arresting officer. So listen now, maybe the arresting officer is seeing that you are intoxicated, you drunk, you driving, and you driving along the road in the night. While they are saying here that they can arrest you at night. Only felony offenses can be arrested for at night. But without felony offenses, they say you shouldn't arrest anybody at night unless you have a warrant of arrest. And on that warrant of arrest, it is inscripted, it is clear that you can arrest the person in the day or in the night. That's the only way. Other than that, you have no right arresting that person. They say other than that, the crime should be committed in your presence. When the crime is being, like I talk about the person drunk driving, you know that person, when that person continue, they will go and they will go hear somebody to commit a crime. In fact, the fact that the person is intoxicated and driving by itself is an offense. They shouldn't be intoxicated and driving. So then you say, okay, I'm arresting the person because why? That offense is being committed in front of you. So you are trying to hinder a future crime. You can arrest the person. Another thing, you walking down Waterside and you see the man right in front of you, he jacked somebody's cell phone. Then you can arrest him. But where you send down to the police station and somebody come to you and say, oh, Mr. John stole my generator. How you know Mr. John stole your generator? I got a receipt for the generator and Mr. John came and he took the generator to my house. He got a generator in his compound. You need to go and get an arrest order. A warrant of arrest, or we call writ of arrest. You need to go and get it. So even that, you need to go and get such warrant, or because now they're telling you the generator in Mr. John Paul June house. You need to go and get a warrant for that. We really don't have enough time to deal with all of the instances, including how the issuance of arrest, of warrant of arrest upon a complaint or indictment, when the case is going for indictment, all of those things, we don't have all of those times today. But of course, it's something that we can discuss another time. But today, I just wanted for us to look at the fundamental right as it relates to arrest, so that you can't self-incriminate. Don't incriminate yourself. The moment they say, oh, they can arrest you, then you start talking. Sometimes the things you talk will incriminate you, incriminate your mom, incriminate your pa, incriminate every other person around you, including yourself. And the next thing, when you go to the police and the police does not provide you or you don't have a lawyer, take for instance, you don't have a lawyer, they're supposed to bring you lawyer. They're supposed to bring, because they say at every stage of the investigation, once that investigation has started, at every stage, they're supposed to bring you lawyer. So in the absence of your lawyer, don't go talking. Except maybe you surely show that, well, I get nothing to her. I can tell the people whatever it is, and that's it. Then the police will ask you to sign waiver. That means you signing that waiver that you talking. You see? You signing a waiver that you talking, you get a right to talk. So the numbers to call are 086 500 104, 0886 500 104, 0776 104 104, 0776 104 104. Call and let us talk about this. Call, let's be part of, make your contribution on the program. Let's talk about this. You see, the essence of us being here is for you to have the right. It's for you to have the right. For you to know your right. Sorry. That's the essence of us sitting here. We come here so that we can be able to enlighten you on your rights and responsibility to the state. If for any reason, okay, let's accept this caller. Caller, your name and where you calling from? Hello, caller.
Yeah.
Your name and where you calling from? Please step away from your radio. Hello.
Yeah, you getting me?
Yeah, I'm getting you. Your name and where you calling from?
My name is KEBEH Smith. I'm calling from Clarendon.
Okay, Mr. Smith, go ahead.
Yeah. I think started the program on for one cat. I pick up from there. And just for arrest.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they make from the police station.
Mm-hmm.
And the police station when you there for arrest, they will charge you. So I want to know their mission for
Hello. Okay, I think we lost that caller. I think he's talking about charges at the police station. When you go there, they can charge you and say, look, our law does not require that anybody charges another person before they go and effect an arrest. That's not what the law says. Because, I mean, the police are being paid monthly by government. Government is the one that provides the salary. So sometimes they will tell you, oh, we have logistical issues. But those logistical issues should not affect the rights of the ordinary Liberians. Sometimes people go, they want to take care of a complaint to the police station. Then you hear somebody saying, it's alleged now. Then you hear somebody saying you got to provide something for us to file your complaint. That is wrong. It is wrong. It shouldn't be that. It shouldn't be done. That's the reason why all of the police has huge budget with government, because these things are not supposed to hinder your right to justice. Because if I'm coming to the police station, I don't have money, and somebody has wronged me, and I come, the first thing you ask me for money, I don't have the money, it means that you have already hindered my right to justice. I'm not going to, because you will not even effect the arrest, or you will not investigate my case in the first place. So I mean, it's wrong. I hope that's what I was getting from the caller, because the caller went off. So the numbers to call are 0886 500 104, 0886 500 104, 0776 104 104, 0776 104 104. Call and be a part of the program. Let's go to hello, caller, your name and where you calling from?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
This is Scott Helman. I call from off the street.
Okay, make your contribution 1 minute.
Yes, thank you for starting such an initiative.
Okay.
Because there is this saying that ignorance of the law is no exception.
Yes.
And there are things that people in their rights need to know so as to be able to avoid
Yeah.
situations that can put them at a disadvantage of suspecting folks in the criminal justice system and the judiciary.
Yeah.
You know, you just said something about people asking, officers asking people to pay money to how you call it, record their cases.
Mhm.
I happened to be a victim of that 2 years back when I was asked for.
Wow.
Imagine somebody being asked for around 3 o'clock in the morning and was wanted to come across from PSU guys on our own education ministry.
Hmm.
The first thing they told me, I should go to the street. Because we were unable, according to them, they were unable to go in pursuit of the criminal.
Wow.
I got to Center Street, Metro, Checkpoint, came across the guy on the text. After explaining everything, then he asked me to facilitate the process of recording my case. And I went in for rage until the commander there woke up and I couldn't intervene. And these are things that people are suffering from on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Another thing, my son was, that's how I even got to know your husband. My son happened to be a victim of, of attack. In Lokita, he was mutilated.
Wow.
Police officer, not even far from the police station. And nobody went to his aid. That young man lied down there. Few days later, he lied down over there. When somebody went to take him for that police officer came and said, whether he let it go.
Oh.
Whether he stole.
Wow.
In that case, even though takes to figure one, he connected with this guy, for the police station there, Central. But we never got any how you got it closer to that case.
Wow.
My son was just killed.
I'm so sorry.
And these are things that happen in our society.
Yes.
One of the things that we really need to discuss at every level is this issue about motorcyclists or even bystanders taking over themselves to exercise how you got a justice in the wake of an accident, of a road accident.
Yeah.
For crying out loud, what does it pressure you to kill somebody just because that man had an accident? An accident is something that was also seen.
Yeah.
He didn't create the situation.
Yeah.
But what put him in the state you're going to put a killing or putting your people on the vehicle? He could probably be a driver or probably there too. Despite him, how you got to have that unfortunate situation to be the one who caused the accident or was involved in the accident.
I'm so sorry.
People really need to be educated, and this program is one that I'm going to take my time off initially to listen every time.
Okay.
Thank you
All
for
right.
this time.
Okay. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing your experience with us. It was disheartening, but I mean, these are things that are happening and we have to talk about it. That's the only way we can be able to eliminate or maybe reduce, some of these appearances in our society. It's bad, Or do we have a call on the line? Okay, somebody dropped off the line. But I mean, it's terrible to know that our people are going through these in our own hands. Call out your name and where you calling from.
I'm back on the line.
Okay.
Smith from Claratown.
Okay, Mr. Smith.
Eh?
Go ahead.
Yeah, that case. During the lockdown,
Mm-hmm.
the COVID, I just want to ask you they were at Poor River.
I can't get you idea on the radio, right?
You talking about arrest?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Let me hear what you got to say.
Just listen now. Because
Mhm.
people just listen.
Mm.
Okay, excuse me. Went to the parking.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, excuse me of taking your phone. But two army men,
Mm-hmm.
I know the job. But one was so aggressive and the other one was horrible. But they are already detained. They try to search. They never search you as what you are saying. They never search before the investigation. They started detaining me, kissing me. So when the guy tried to search the other army guy, he found it in the travel car.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I wanted to get complaint. People threatening me. People say, I want to get complaint to the people. They will do all kinds of things to me because I always on the road up and down. So after I should get my case to the Bible. People still tell me that too, or anything. So I don't know where to get the complaint. I know the two army guys, good, I know the name, including the travel. When they see me, they can run away, especially the travel. So where should I carry the complaint? With the two army guys.
Okay, so normally army guys complaints go to the barracks when they do something outside that against their rules. We know that the army rules is different from the civilian rules. They deal with what we call the Uniform Code of Justice. So when they do something, it is their complaint goes to the military barrack if it's army people. For the civilian people, like the how they call it, the police, I mean the driver, he complaints go to the police station and then you take it from there. Another color. Okay. Okay. So we go on as we get more colors on the line. Um, so the issuance of writ of warrant of arrest, I think we have less than 5 more minutes. I don't know whether we can go into this or we should just reserve this for another time. But it was interesting, the experience that the first caller talk. I mean, not the first caller, the second caller talk about. The experience was interesting. It's sorrowful to know that with everything we're doing every time to educate the public, someone who died from mob violence, and this is something that is becoming prevalent in our society. You know, people overlook it, but sometimes before you realize it, you get into it and you are hurt. Some people will lose their lives. You know, you lose the life of your child, relative, and thing before you know it. And then people that did it, they walk away scot free. You know, you know what it means for somebody to be a beating or something happening, and then you leave there and say you're the man are criminal. How can you call as a law enforcement officer? You already render judgment on the man, the power which you do not have. You already render judgment on the man before he's even taken to court. Whereas the law says he's innocent until he's found guilty. Because of course we can make mistakes. Like the case I talked about first, that was a complete mistake on the part of these people. But what if they had just arrested that guy and taken him to the police station? Eventually, they were going to know that, oh, but that guy is not a criminal. That guy was just passing by his business because he now go to one girlfriend place frustrated. He didn't sleep there, so he was passing now going to go get himself to reach to his place. But look at what happened to him. All because people want to take the law in their own hands. So sometimes our problems are not even those affecting or those that have the law and the power to do it. Sometimes our problem are ourselves. We as people, we are our problems because we don't want to follow rules. We don't want to follow regulations. We don't want to follow the law. We just want to do anything that appease us. Once I do it and make me happy, that's it. Even if somebody die in the process, I don't care. And if you have those kind of logic, if that's your mode of reasoning, then it means that you have a problem. But even in society, when these things happen, you barely see the people arresting anyone. Recently, a bus and a truck, I think, made an accident. And from what we read now, the stories that we gather on social media, they made an accident and the truck was set ablaze. So if you destroy the property, has it brought back the life of those that died? Does it in any way mean that you have the way you have taken law in your hands? And sometimes you see even the police is around, the police does not even effect arrest. They just sit down and look at those people doing those things. And sometimes the excuse will get, they'll say, but we're not plenty. What you expect us to do? But it is the state's responsibility to save us, to safeguard us. You see, if you have 5 million people, or let's say we have 7 million, let's assume we have 7 million people. We should have at least, if you say, well, 30 citizens or 50 citizens to one police officer. I don't know how they can do their calculation, but I think if we have something like that, then we will have, a little bit of instilling law and order. But where there's a breakdown in law and order, you always have that. Only banana republic can behave like that. Everybody do their own thing, which is wrong. And at the end of the day, then we want the right results. We can't get the right results if we keep doing the wrong things. So today, this is what we have talked about. We have not ended on the warrant of arrest and writ of arrest, but at least we took some pertinent points from here. And I hope we don't just sit and just talk about these things, even though it is our duty to come and talk about these things over and over and again to you, to us. But I just hope that whenever we talk about it, we take something from there, be able to change us. That's what education should do. Education should be able to change us. We shouldn't be doing the same thing over and over, and then we say we are educated people. Or education does not mean formal education. You got to go to school. As you said today, when you listen to my voice, if you learn something from me, you have been educated on a particular aspect of it, whether you are lettered or not. And it should be able to change the way you think, the way you effect things. It should change. If we can't do that, then it means that we are going backwards as a society instead of going forward. So these are the words that I leave for you today. Let us strive to go forward as a society. Let us do the right thing and expect the right result. That's the only way we can build a better future for our children tomorrow. So I wish you all the best. I hope what we've talked about here today will be honored by someone out there that have learned something. And at the end of the day, it will be applied. It's one thing to listen to it and another thing to apply it. Let it be applied so that we can have a safer society out there. Do have yourself a blessed day.